Hi, I'm Gary Hall Sr. from the Race Club. I'd like to welcome you back to the Secret Tip of the Week. Last week we talked about the importance of the kick in swimming, and the first function of the kick was propulsion. This week we're going to talk about the second function of the kick, which is lift. Lift is one of the most forgotten components of swimming, and yet one of the most important ones. Why is it so important? Well, it has to do with drag. Remember, we're in water swimming, but we're also on the surface. And the higher we are on the surface, the more of us is in air and the less of us in water. And that makes us much faster when we can move through air than through water. A good example of the power of lift is in 1969, they outlawed saltwater world records because the additional flotation or buoyancy you get from the salt actually makes you a lot faster in the water. Same can be said of wetsuits when you wear a wetsuit in the water. So every millimeter of lift you get in the water can make a significant reduction in drag. And there are two things that really lift us in the water. One is the legs, and the second is the beginning or the front part of the front quadrant, the entry and the downward push of the arm pull. You can have big feet, you can have a very slow kick, but you can still get a lot of lift out of the kick. So lift is very important. Even if you use just a 2-beat kick, you're still going to get significant lift. So you have to remember that even though you're not a great kicker, you still need to learn to use the legs and use them very strongly. Developing a strong kick requires both strength and flexibility. Here are some of the exercises that we use at the Race Club, beginning with a simple calf stretch, pushing up, stretching the calf, working the calf. Here a simple jump, slight knee bend, pushing off the grass, getting up, repeating. Here's a flexibility exercise that we use, which is where we sit on top of the feet with the knees extended up into the air. You notice that some of the athletes can get their knees up higher and they have greater flexibility, like Daniel, who extends the knees very high, and yet his sister can't elevate as much. Here's a simple knee bend where the squat goes down using the calf and using the quadricep muscles. Now we're seeing a basketball jump. The basketball jump where we bring the knees outside of the elbows, elevating them, trying to get as high off the ground as possible. These are simple leg lunges where we don't touch the ground with the knee, we keep the upper body straight, hands on the hips, strengthening the quadriceps. Here we do it in an outward direction to either side. Again, stretching the calves, strengthening the quadriceps. This is an online skating strength for the legs where we go from side to side, deep knee bend, keeping the body weight down, extending the leg from one side to the other as far out as we can, making a deep jump. Now I'm demonstrating the 2-beat kick with a freestyle whereby you need a fast turnover, a high stroke rate, but you can see that I get enough kick to elevate my legs and to keep them at the surface. This is not a strong propulsion type of kick, but it is enabling me to get my legs elevated, and it's used often in a long distance swim or an open water swim very effectively, particularly with a wetsuit. You can see that I can get significant amount of lift with one kick with each arm stroke. You'll also notice that as the kick goes down, the opposite hand enters, but it's timed so that the kick occurs at the end of the same arm pull to help the stabilizing force. Now you can see as I go from slow to fast and I throw more of a 6-beat kick in and a higher stroke rate, how the body can elevate and get higher in the water, and with that, reducing drag. Here I go from a low body position in the water to a high body position. Nico's demonstrating the other side of lift, which is the front end of the pull. As he pushes his hand forward, it acts as an airplane wing and elevates him, and then he puts a downward force before the hand turns and moves backward to provide propulsion. You can also see the strong down kick that Nico has here to elevate his legs. Butterfly is particularly important to get lift because if the legs die or they don't get lift and they drop, the drag coefficient goes up tremendously. So it's very important to have strong kick in butterfly to help keep the body horizontal. Nico pushes down hard with both feet, keeping his head down, elevating the hips, elevating the legs, keeping the body in a very horizontal plane. Now he's pushing more up and down, going faster, pushing in both directions, but still getting a lot of lift from the down kick. When you see Nico do butterfly from above, you realize that it's a strong kick that enables him to keep this horizontal position and not have to elevate his shoulders in order to get the breath. He tries to lift the neck, keeping the shoulders down, keeping the body on a horizontal plane. Now he's going faster, but you see the strong kick that elevates his hips, keeps his body high on the surface, and enables him to go fast. From underwater, you see the strength of his kick as he pushes down, tucks the chin down, elevates the hips, keeps the legs at the surface where they need to be. Backstroke is a little different from the standpoint of getting lift in that it's the down part of the kick, not the up kick, that creates the lift. So in order to do backstroke effectively, you have to learn to kick hard in both directions. Dorothy Hong here kicks hard on the down kick in order to elevate her legs, but she also gets more propulsion from the upside of her kick. But she needs to use both a hard down kick and up kick in order to swim fast.